This school shooter kid, again, we always, for me, I go right to what's going on in this kid's life. What's happening to this? And I got into this conversation yesterday with a pal saying, and I've said it on the air, growing up in rural Illinois, deer hunting season, duck hunting season, kids brought guns to school because they were leaving to go hunting right after school and often would get out early and go do it. Dad would pick up and off they go. Nobody, and we still had arguments. There was bullying. There was infighting. Guys would get in fist fights and stuff. No one ever thought about shooting each other. Where have we gone? What's going on? So, and when I saw this 13-year-old Colton Gray posted that, why doesn't my brain work right? Or something like that. I started thinking, okay, let's get into the psychology a little bit. Dr. John Braccio joins us usually every Tuesday and is taking time out of his schedule to join us now. He's been in private practice, since like 1978. Graduated from MSU in 1971. He's on with us every week to talk about some subject, and he joins us now. Dr. John Braccio. Good morning, Doc.
Well, good morning to you. And Mike, this is a difficult topic. It's something that's been happens more and more, and when it happens, it's just devastating. And everyone really seems very surprised, very upset, and we are. We see things like this, but there really are some patterns here. And as we look here, we can certainly see that he fits this. Apparently, difficulties in the home. I believe it was a man who came out and said that he'd been looking for help and was just going through difficult time growing up, and that seems to be part of this. And we also see somebody in his case who really, it looks like, has been really reaching out, and even a year ago, kind of a pattern. They kind of leak information, let things go, and apparently that happened a year ago in terms of when he was online. And this, again, he's kind of denying some of these things, but it looks like certainly somebody was picking up on this, and the dysfunction issues at home. But even with that, this happens to a lot of people. When you think about it, it's not like you say, there are plenty of people that go hunting, there are plenty of people that have guns, call it what you will. But in his case, he obviously just did what the local sheriff called really something very, very evil. Mm-hmm. And not all these kids are really psychotic, meaning they're just not like they're just out of it and they're just out shooting and doing things. Everyone's a little different. But in his case, it does appear to be some of these patterns, difficulties at home, looking for help, so to speak. No one knows too much really about him. And when this occurred, he certainly wasn't valuing life, when he was doing this. Right. We don't know. He wasn't in the school that long. Kind of shocked everybody. But it's a pretty horrible type of a condition. And the fact that somebody could actually point blank just go up and shoot people and kill them, it's unfathomable. I think that when we hear it, we just can't believe who would really do such a thing. But obviously there are people that do it, and he's one of them. I think when we get more and more into him, we're going to find that he fits a lot of patterns that occur with persons like this. But a lot of people just say, well, the person's a psychotic and he's a this and he's that. No, it's never really quite that simple, even though I would argue anybody who can go and in cold-blooded, behavior just kill someone, there's clearly something horribly wrong and dysfunctional in that person's mind. No doubt about that.
That's why I wanted to lean on you in your expertise, Dr. Braccio, because you and I and everyone who I would never hang the sign of normal around my neck, but we function day to day. We don't do things like this. So in your experience, how do you determine? How can you see something? You see what I'm saying? And when it comes up, it's patterns of behavior, words that people say. It's got to be. I don't know how you can actually determine it. You might talk to someone who's totally fine 1 minute, and then they go out and they do something. We see stories like that as well. So what should someone be looking for? I mean, obviously, if somebody posts online, if your 13-year-old says, why does my brain not work right? I'm calling you right away. I'm saying we need to get in and get this fixed. But are there subtleties
I think there are things that have to be looked at. See, the problem, of course, is a lot of people can have these patterns, but anyone who has them is in need of some mental health support, okay? Mm-hmm. If we see little changes in mood in a person, we see a person who can be upset about himself, if a person is marginalized or, bullied, picked on, difficulty forming relationships, just there have been recent stressors or trauma. In fact, I heard they'd even been put out of a house. Again, I've heard just bits on here that there has been from social services someone involved in the home. And if you do see, it's kind of just picking up on this pattern. There can be childhood abuse, there can be neglect, there can be grievance, a lot of revenge. People want to get back at someone. There are those that want to have their name known and remembered, like, you've forgotten me, people have forgotten me, so I'm going to make sure that you don't forget me, this type thing. Yeah. And humiliation, shame, and then access to firearms. So there are things to be looking for, but this leakage of information, that seems to be one that in this case certainly seems to have occurred a year ago, and we don't know exactly who was noting that. So apparently it's been noted in the past that he has some of these issues. So, but the things I just mentioned, those are things you have to look for in a person. And I think if you're a parent, if you're a friend, if you're a school person, when you see these patterns in a person, then I think you really just want to try to help the person. In schools, I think if we can have, I guess regular training, and some of this is really going on. And if you see this in a person, it's not like you're a snitch or you're squealing or something. But if you see somebody, this is really pretty important stuff, because once we get to know more about the person, and often they kill themselves or they're killed. In this case, he's alive. To find out what's really going on, what pattern's going on. And Mike, this has been being looked at for a long time, and ultimately, no one exactly knows what's going on. There are just certain patterns going on. And in his case, the police had visited with him, met with the father. He claimed that all guns were locked up, and the boy at that time denied he had did anything. But there, as we start looking, these patterns are there, and again, as I said, the problem is there are many persons going through these things that don't go out and start shooting and killing people. But if we can try to have more awareness of students, of school people, of people that are in the family, that are close, can have an impact. But it's pretty sad. It's a pretty tragic. And it's the first thing I think people say, the person's psychotic, he's a murderer, he's out of tune completely with reality. And that's true with some people, but it's not true with everyone. That's the problem you have with this. And so I think it's really taking a real, trying to understand what's going on in the person's mind.
Well, and know your own children. Now, they arrested the dad. They did that. I think they arrested the dad yesterday. And I don't know enough about their family situation. Is it just dad and him? Is there a divorce that had gone on? I don't know any of that. And all of this information still has to come out. Yes. So we'll watch this. But I had heard that well, I don't want to say, here's what I hear, right? We'll just go with what we know for sure, and we'll watch as this goes. One of the things, though, I think that is good is this young man was not shot to death, in that now we have someone who's alive that we can talk to. What was going on? It gives us a little more information, whereas like the kid who shot Trump, obviously they took him out, the snipers took him out. You'll never be able to get into that brain and find out, okay, what, how, why, what? You see what I'm saying?
I absolutely do. And it's a very difficult thing, because I think we can use the word, sociopath. And many of these persons do have those traits, but there's more to it than that. I mean, It's not just as simple as you can't just give a label and say, that explains this. These seem to have a pattern of the experiences the person is having that are really negative. They can be destructive, and they come forth with violence like this. But they tend to, there is this thing about leakage, letting information out. The aunt did say that he was someone looking for help, whatever that means. But apparently people knew it was a difficult life happening with him. So it's, again, but if you say if it's a dysfunctional set of parents or dysfunctional friends, environment, or even if they have friends, it's just hard. It's easy, not easy. Afterwards, we can go back and we can see, look at these 8 traits. Okay, the problem is there are many persons with those 8 traits that obviously aren't out, distorting reality, out killing people. Then, okay, we're not running into that type of a thing. But it's a difficult type thing. I think as schools, as people, the more people are aware of some of the characteristics that I mentioned, the better off we are at stopping these. But it's a problem that as a society we have to work at more and more, particularly with dysfunctional homes, more and more with the breakup of the family. So
that's big right there.
Something we have to try to do.
That's big right there. Break up of the family. You said a lot just in that sentence right there. Dr. John Braccio. Doc, we're up on time. I appreciate you taking time out of our usual schedule, though, for this. This is important stuff.
Tough situation going on, my friend. Have a good day.
All right. Talk to you later. drjohnb.com, Regional Psychological Services, East Lansing. Always good. It's your morning wake up. Mike Austin here. It's 7:20, 1320 WILS.